family. This is Mother Teresa. How's everybody doing on tonight? Listen, everybody, I just went live a couple of minutes ago and I was actually sharing a couple of things about. I went live not only with my YouTube family, but also with my Facebook. And I was just talking a little bit about mental health. You know that the month of May is Mental Health Month. Because it is Mental Health Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, a little bit with my audiences both on Facebook and YouTube about the stigma. First of all, the stigma that's attached to mental health, and not only the stigma that's attached to mental health, but also the reason why I believe that there is stigma attached. I believe that there is stigma attached to, how we deal with the issues of mental health, how we deal with the subject of mental health, and why we are slow in getting help, or why we're slow with seeking help to deal with our mental health issues. And one of the things that I shared earlier is that I believe that we have been so conditioned by our families um, and by our culture to believe that we don't talk about it, that this is family business. Not only is this family business, but we grew up during a time where we were told that what happens in this house stays in this house. And that meant if somebody was dealing with a mental health issue, if somebody was dealing with anything, that, hey, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. We don't bring it out into the open. We don't share it so people can you know, look down upon us, because a lot of times I feel like that's where the issue came from, is that if you acknowledge the fact that you were dealing with a mental health issue, that you were going to be, there was shame and there was guilt and there was, all of those things that were associated with someone having a mental health issue. So, therefore, first of all, we're not going to talk about it. We're definitely not going to acknowledge that it exists. And then we're not going to get any help for it. We're not going to, go to a psychiatrist. We're not going to go to a social worker. We're not going to go to someone, a clinician that can help us, because then we're putting our business out on the street. Okay. And we don't put our business out on the street. We keep everything that is happening in house. So again, what happens in this house, it stays in this house, okay? Which is something that I have learned is not a good way of thinking or living. So the things that's happening in our house, we need to be able to share those things, okay? We need to be able to share that, hey, this is happening in my house and I need some help. And because I need some help, I'm going to, go after it. So again, what is the reason why we don't seek help? I talked about, the people of color and all of those things, those cultural things that go along with it. But again, the other thing is I just believe that sometimes people allow they don't want to be shamed, they don't want to be talked about, they don't want to be the subject of, people, saying, oh, that person is uh and I hate to use the term, cray cray or crazy or whatever those terms are. I do believe that one of the things that we have to do, you all, is we got to do a better job and recognizing when other people are going through. And I'm talking to myself first. Is even though or although I am a licensed mental health professional, I'm a licensed social worker with a graduate degree in counseling, undergraduate degree in social work. So I know people. I know how to study people. I know how people act when they have mental health issues. But let me just tell you, I don't always get it right either. Okay. So we've got to do a better job, you all, people that are in this profession and just people in general, family members. We've got to do a better job in knowing when our family members, when our loved ones are dealing with things. We've got to do a better job in knowing and being able to recognize when they're going through. I'm not sure if if everybody feels the way that I feel about making sure that you are available to people. And when I say available to people, I'm what I mean is making sure that if somebody needs you, if somebody needs to talk to you, that you can be that person that they can talk to. How available are you? Do you put yourself out to stand or to hold space for another person who is going through certain things? And if you're not, then why not? Why are you not? Are you in a situation where maybe going through something as well? But if that's not the case, why and have a conversation about some of the things that they're going through? But again, I just wanted to jump back on here real quick and just say, with this being Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm just urge you to be mindful of the people who are going through, your family members, of your loved ones, of the people that are in your circle. Know what they're going through and have some compassion. Passion. Don't make them feel worse than they already feel. Don't make them feel like, oh, it's your fault for this, it's your fault for that. You're unreliable, you're unstable, you're not responsible, you're not any of these things. Guess what? This is a illness. Health is an illness. And you wouldn't tell a person who has um, heart problems, stamina to, or, people that have other disabilities or other things, you would not some of the things that maybe you can do. Well, this is no different. This is no different. Again, like I said, mental health illness, and you've got to treat it as such. And the people around you, if you know somebody worker, have some compassion. Have some compassion for that individual. And not only have some compassion for that individual, but get to know a little bit about what they're dealing with. Because let me just tell you, it absolutely makes no sense for me to know that my son has ADHD and I don't educate myself to learn how to be a better mother, okay? How to deal with some of the things that he's dealing with, how to respond to some of the things that he's going through. Okay. So if you have a loved one or coworker or whatever, if they tell you that they have oppositional defiant disorder, if they are obsessive compulsive disorder, if they have major depressive disorder, if they tell you they have anxiety, if they tell you they have any type of panic disorders, if they are afraid to go outside, if they have any of these things, if they're just dealing with anxiety and the anxiety keeps them from being able to function in the way that a lot of other people are able to function, find out a little bit more about it. Study. The internet is full of information. Make sure it's credible information, but find out a little bit more about it. And I've shared with you all before. This son, that's my son right there when he was a little boy. My son is now 21 years old. And I can tell you, was diagnosed with ADHD. First of all, let me just tell you, I already knew something was going on because the people at church, listen, if from me during, if you see him running and grab him, he's gotten away from me. So I knew that there was something that was going on. And what did I do as a parent? I began to study to find out what in the world was going on. Okay. I dealt with a lot of students that had that were autistic, not artistic, but autistic. And that he was doing, that's what I thought it was. No, it wasn't. Um, but what I can tell you, and this is what I need you all to understand, educate yourself, okay? Educate yourself on the things that impacts the lives of those people that are closest to you. And not only educate, but then after you do that, have some compassion, okay? Hold space for them. Don't judge them, okay? Hold space for them. Love them. Give them what they need in order for them to heal, okay? Because let me just tell you, you can either make them or break them, okay? And most of the people that are dealing with mental health issues, they are seeking somebody to help make them, to stand beside them, to walk beside them, to be that person that of comfort, of strength, okay? Because someday, yeah, okay, they don't have it to give and um, stand in the space for them. All right, everybody, listen here and say, hey, this is if you missed my live earlier, go back and listen to it, but share it with other people. And if you are a subscriber, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are not, consider becoming a subscriber. Turn on the notification bell thing and listen. You all have a great night. I am going to try to make sure that I shut this off the way that I need to. This is probably my third live that I've done, and I'm still learning how to make everything work. Okay, everybody, y'all have a great night. Bye bye.